Looks like we're on.
All right.
We're on.
Everybody's on.
We're on.
Good deal. I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Likewise.
It's
Yeah.
been a long time, it seems like.
Yeah, it has been a minute. Yeah. We have a special guest
We
today,
do.
right? ARoyce, is that what it is?
My name's ARoyce.
ARoyce.
Most
Okay.
people call me Top, T-O-P-P.
T-O-P-P. Top.
Okay.
Okay. Is that your just a nickname? Is
That's
it
my nickname.
Professional name?
The nickname, hip hop name.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go.
Good deal.
Name that everybody
Good deal.
calls me on the.
Yeah. Do you mind if I put this a little bit
Yeah,
closer?
go for it.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
So tell us, where are you from originally?
I was born and raised in Compton, California.
In Compton?
Yeah.
Woo!
in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
They used to say we were duck and dodging a lot of bullets at that
I
time.
bet.
You know, I was fortunate for my mom. She met my stepdad in the early 90s, and he was like, "You got to get him out of here." So he moved us out here actually to Canyon Lake,
Oh, nice.
and then we started growing up out here.
What a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, big
It was
change.
a culture shock.
I bet. You're earning stripes in the hood, and then you go over
then you
to
come up out here and you're like,
living
"What?
in
I don't
Beverly
even-
Hills.
I don't even need these stripes no more."
Yeah. Wow, man. So, at what age did you move out to Canada?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah, I was
Oh, that's-
16. So that was in 91, I think. Yeah,
That's
91.
important too. Like that age.
Yeah,
Like
that was
that's when you're really starting to get
it
into
was
it.
a very delicate time at that point, because I was at that age where kids were dying
Mm-hmm.
and going to jail already.
Yeah.
So, you know, my stepdad was just telling my mom, she's like, "You got to get him out of here, because if
Yeah.
you don't, either two things are going to happen. He's going to get killed, or they're going to end up in jail." So,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
me and my brother were fortunate for that.
Mad props to your stepdad, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, for really caring and looking out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your journey after that.
So after that, I moved out here, and because of the boredom, I stopped playing sports. I used to ride skateboards and football and all of that stuff, but riding the skateboards kind of started to lead me down a bad path.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing drugs. I never even touched any drugs when I was growing up in Compton, but when I moved out here, probably around after 2 years, hanging around with the wrong people, started using drugs and stuff, ended up becoming addicted to methamphetamines.
Whoa.
And yeah, so that threw me in a downward spiral for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pulled myself out of it. I just realized, I said, you know what? You lost everything. You need to get out of this situation. So I just made a conscious choice to move up to Oakland. And my dad, my father, he was living up in Oakland, so I moved up there. And I stayed there for like a year. And I was a little uncomfortable because I didn't know anybody. So I was just like, oh, let me move back over here. And I moved back down here, and I stayed down here for another year. But all those people started coming around me again.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I need to go away for a longer period of time. So I left and stayed up there for 5 years and just restructured my whole life. And then I moved back over here and been on this smooth path.
Let me ask you a question. So, there's still, there's a lot of people that still struggle with addiction, right?
Yes.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced, like trying to get your life back together?
Staying away from the negative people. That was hard, because it's easy sometimes to say, okay, I won't do this, but as soon as your friends come around and they have it,
Yeah.
then you're like, okay, well, you just get sucked right back into
Right.
it again. So that was probably one of the hardest things. That's why I had to just literally move out of this whole area and just clean myself up. But another thing would be probably, your thoughts, because you're thinking, I need this. Your body's telling you that you need this, but really in actuality, you weren't even born with that.
Right.
So you don't need it like how
Right.
your body's telling you to. You just need time away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that time away from it will help you, grow back into your original self again.
Oh, great. That's good to know. And I'm sure anybody watching this that is struggling right now with any addiction,
Yeah.
Can probably relate to that.
Definitely.
What was your at what point did you realize that you were starting to get a hold of your life again? Was there a moment where you realized, like,
Yeah. Just like when I moved up to Oakland that first time or the second time, it was probably after 2 years. I remember I was getting up and going to work every day. I had two jobs. I finally got a car. I finally got my driver's license back, and I got my bank account back. And I looked up one day, and I had been saving my money in a drawer, and I'd just been working so much. I didn't even know how much money I had in there. I opened up the drawer, it was like $5,000 in there,
Wow.
and I'm like, dang. I went from being addicted to this strong, powerful drug, not having anything, to having everything back again. So it was probably like it took me about a full 2 years. And then after that, it was just smooth sailing. But unfortunately for me, because I have addictive personality, I was already addicted to smoking cigarettes at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I was already addicted to drinking alcohol at that time. So I don't recommend this, but what I did to get off of the meth was I just leaned on cigarettes and marijuana and alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
and then that pushed the addiction to the side. And then I'm look up and I'm like, well, now I got to overcome this.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it took me a long time to overcome the cigarettes and alcohol. Barely just probably alcohol be 5 years in August, and cigarettes was 3 years in May. So,
Wow.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
man.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
congratulations.
you can do it. I never went to any rehab. I never had any counseling sessions or anything like that. I just willed myself.
You had the will to do it.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have that positive
Right.
inner voice.
Yeah.
Right.
So the addictive personality is really strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet your will to succeed is just as
It's
strong
strong.
as that addict. So that was the
Exactly.
balance that helped you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you always need balance, and one of my monikers that I live by is structure, balance, and discipline. If you live by those three elements right there, you will be able to succeed in whatever you set out to do. Because
That's awesome.
those are the three main ingredients to life.
Yeah. What is it again?
Structure, balance, and discipline.
Structure, balance, and diversity.
Yeah, and discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah,
Mine is God, life, and good karma.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
that works.
I like that, man. You get to send that to me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
definitely.
get one for myself now.
Yeah, we're
for
gonna
sure.
give you one.
I was planning on get some T-shirts made, so
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
love that.
that's a good idea.
I'll get some T-shirts made and put them in your shop, Angie.
Oh, most
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, I'll take
Yeah.
them in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So during the period of time when you were going through this addiction, obviously it causes problems in your life, in your personal life,
Yeah.
your business life, but it also affects your family,
Yep.
right? So how did you gain that trust back from your family?
That took some time, and through the process, I ended up losing my relationship with my son.
Oh man.
Which is probably one of the biggest things that I did lose,
Mhm.
that I regret to this day. But it took a long time for my family members to say, "Oh, okay, he's okay now."
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those things where they just see me pulling myself up out of all of this stuff and pushing them back, saying, "No, I don't want your help because I've got myself in this situation. I need to get myself out of it so I can learn what I did to myself."
Right.
So, but once they seen me pulling myself out of the situation, and I was back on my feet, then they grew a lot more trust within me again.
Yeah.
It took a while though.
It does take a while,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So you have a relationship with your son now?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No.
Unfortunately.
Hopefully one day maybe.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
pray that because
Yep,
the
definitely.
power of prayer is unmatched,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. He's got a little sister now, so things
Yeah.
are a lot different.
Yeah.
Right.
So going through that whole process with your family, I mean, patience is probably
Oh yeah,
the key, right? 'Cause
definitely.
you want things to happen faster, you want to have that relationship back, but it's not happening. And I think a lot of people at some point during that period of time, they kind of give up and think, oh, this is not working.
Definitely. And what they'll do is because drugs make your mind weak.
Mm-hmm.
So what they'll do is say, you know what, you guys don't love me anyways. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go back and start doing this drugs again.
Yeah.
And then they slip right back down into that paradigm again.
Yeah.
And then they have to go through all of these changes. Some people it take 5-10 years to pull themselves back up to that level
Right.
again. So part of the reason why people do drugs is because they don't love themselves.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you love yourself, you don't go out doing abusive things to your physical body because
Right.
you love yourself too much.
Yeah.
It's like having your husband or your wife right there. You wouldn't do anything to harm them or hurt them because
Right.
you love them, you know.
Yeah.
So when we love ourselves, we don't put ourselves in these toxic situations. So part of the reason why I got addicted is because I didn't care for myself.
Mhm.
I didn't. There was parts of me that didn't want to be alive, you know.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I know that God put me through all of those circumstances to make me stronger and to educate me so I can help other people
That's right.
get pulled out of
Yeah.
that
Wow,
situation.
that is powerful.
Yeah. No, it is. It's
Man.
really powerful
That is
because
mighty.
You know?
so many people. There's people who have success stories.
Yes.
Obviously, like yourself, but there's so many people that just they get to a certain point where they just get weak and then they just fall right back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, they've made a lot of progress, but they just go right back.
Yeah.
You know, I've got two friends that work in the music industry, and one of them I think has been sober now for maybe 12 years, and the other one's like going on 20.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I know that there's challenges there because they're in an entertainment industry where there's bands, they're
It's everywhere.
backstage, like everything's going on that you don't want to be around.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
But you have to be a part of it,
Yep.
so you just have to be stronger than the situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great, man. I commend you, you know,
Definitely, thank
for
you.
that.
Congratulations.
And thank you for
Wow.
sharing that with us.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
no problem.
So, let's forget about the past now.
Okay.
Let's talk about the future.
All
Like,
right.
so where are you at today, and what are you doing today?
Well, today I try to do spiritual advice. You know, back in 2017, I had a massive spiritual awakening where it was just like the best way I can describe it is like a bomb went off. I went through what is called what do they call it? Severe emotional trauma.
Mm.
This is the same element that Nostradamus went through. The great seer, the great prophet Nostradamus.
Yes.
He went through a severe emotional trauma from losing his wife and his kid to a plague that was in their area at that time. I believe he had walked for like 3 months trying to find a cure,
Yeah.
and he couldn't find it. And then once he got back to where his wife and his kids were, they already had passed on, and he just went into a severe shock, severe depression. And they say that he went into darkness, was what they say he did, where he hid from the society for like 30 or 40 days.
Wow.
And when he came back, he was seen walking through the forest with a dark hood over his head. And from there, he became who he was. So these type of severe emotional traumas, what they do is they'll activate your pituitary gland and your pineal gland and all your whole chakra system at the same time. When this occurs, you become like super clairvoyant.
Mm.
Everything is enhanced tenfold. So we have, I know you know about the third eye. So a lot of people don't know we have 4 third eyes because there's different systems within that. But I'll get into that. But in 2017, I had a severe emotional trauma with my mother, my daughter's mom, and I breaking up, caused me to spiral into that. And when I was probably around about 3 or 4 months into it, I just started to have all of these. I went through the dark night of the soul, and I started to have all of these angelic encounters.
Mm.
But every door, another Reiki healer told me that I had every door to the spiritual realm was open. So, which is not a good thing, but I didn't know it at that time. But I was just having all of these angelic encounters. I went through the dark night of the soul, which is a very, very, very scary thing to go through because you come to these realizations like the whole veil of life will just fall because we got 2 sides of life that we're living on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you next thing you know, you end up on this other side and you don't know what this is, you know.
Right.
But by 2018, I started to the angelic and ET type of experiences started to wrap up. I started seeing angels on my peripheral, from Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, all of them. I started seeing all of that. Angie wanted me to kind of go in on this, so I'll speak on this. But I was doing some third eye meditations to decalcify my pineal gland even more, so I can enhance everything. And I was laying down one night and doing the meditation, and usually lay on my back when I meditate, but for some reason I fell asleep and kind of fell asleep, and I laid over on my side, and as I was laying there, I was halfway asleep and I was halfway awake. I don't know if you know, there's that perfect state right there. I was in that state, and then all of a sudden, what I thought was in my dream, but really I was seeing it through in my room, was a being. He came through my ceiling and he sat down next to me on the bed, and he started rubbing his hand up against my back, up and down in like a not fast motion, but just kind of, it's just a swift motion up and down from my buttocks up into my head, up and down, and then all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, this thing is really next to me, and I opened up my eyes and I seen it right there, and then it shot through the ceiling, and when it was going through the ceiling, it said, "Welcome to the other side." It took me a long time to realize what it did, but what it was doing was activating my Kundalini. So I can because it takes a long time to activate your Kundalini, and I know in the spiritual realm, our ancestors, our spirit guides, the divine himself, they watch us. The chosen ones, they will watch you, and they will wait to a perfect time to activate you, or acclimate you into the spiritual realm. And some people, they will want some people to get sped up a lot faster than the others, and that was what happened with me. So that being was his body was like, if you turn on like an old school TV and the static is there, its whole body was like that.
Wow.
But it had the arms and legs and everything, all the features like that. It even had a face I could see, but it was just its whole body.
Energy.
It was just energy.
Wow.
And right after that, that was in January of 2018. And from January, February, March, April, 3 months later is when my Kundalini activated. And from there, I'll just be hyper. I mean, I know, like, I can tell you almost what happened with that paramedic one down the street right now. I don't know if you guys heard the paramedic one.
Yeah, we heard.
Yeah, I can almost tell you what happened with that. That's an elderly situation, but that's because when you're super hyper clairvoyant like that, you pick up stuff that you don't even. You might not even care about it.
Yeah.
It might not even really have any effect on you. But this is what happens when you activate the Kundalini. So, in 2018, my Kundalini got activated, and from there, all the chakra systems started to activate, because we have different chakra systems within the 7 main chakras. So you have your 7 main chakras, then you have your Kundalini, and now getting back to the 4 third eyes, when you activate your Kundalini, it's going to activate the Kundalini system. So what you have is your Pingala, and there's another knot on the left side. The Pingala is here, and there's another one on the right side of your lower back. These two have to be activated through your breath, and when they're activated through your breath, they start to go up your spine like that, which activates Shakti and Shiva. But Shakti and Shiva are activated when we're born, but over the course of time, of course, one of them goes to sleep. But when you activate that system right there, it's kind of like a candy cane.
Oh, okay.
So it goes up your spine, it goes up the back of your head. When it goes up the back of your head, it activates your Lalana chakra, your Bindu chakra, your other parts of your crown chakra, and then I'll activate the other 3 third eyes right there.
Wow.
So once you have all of those activated, I mean, you're like, when I go to lay down to meditate, it literally feels like a steel rod is coming out of my head.
Wow.
Out of my forehead, because of the level of activations, or all the third eyes opening at the same time.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's
huh?
interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that really is. So tell me, how has this helped you? Like,
It's helped me tremendously. It's made me become a lot more positive person. It's made me a lot more self-loving. And I learned through the process that when we love ourselves abundantly, God is going to love you more.
Yeah.
Therefore, your cup of love will overflow into everybody. So every time you go around people, they will start to love themselves.
Yeah.
I did a video on TikTok the other day about activating what is called a mandorla. You can activate a mandorla. It was a download that I got So when we activate this mandorla, we actually become a physical portal ourselves. So when
wow.
you go around people, after that is activated, you are a portal. So when you are radiating love, abundance, hope, and all of these 5D type of feelings, other people around you start to feel it because they get sucked into that portal,
Wow,
into that dimension.
that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the download was for the mandorla. So let's say this is a circle here, and then there's another circle within that one. Well, that's heaven. This circle over here is earth, and in between that is a mandorla.
Mm.
If you look at ancient depictions of the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ, you'll see them coming out of this mandorla. It's also a representation of the female anatomy, as we know. That's a portal as well.
Mm.
That's the portal that we come into this dimension in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with that, when you see the pictures of Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ, you'll see that mandorla is wrapped around them. That's why in those times when people would come, like the 12 disciples, when they went around Jesus Christ, they had all of the abilities that he had because they were in his portal. So when you activate this, you have to, of course, you have to have your Kundalini has to be activated, your Merkaba, and your 7 main chakras. And then the 8 chakras out of your head have to be activated as well. The 15th chakra will turn pink, and when it turns pink, it will wrap around your physical body in that oval shape or almond shape.
Mm-hmm.
It'll connect to the soul star chakras underneath your feet, and from there, it will activate and turn you into a portal.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's like some really deep information. Like
Yeah.
I never knew about this.
Yeah, that type of stuff is going to come from the Akashic record.
Mhm.
The Akashic record has all the information of everything that has ever transpired or anything that humanity has ever done or is capable of doing.
No.
It's in there. I actually physically went in there one night through a dream state because I'm a lucid dreamer.
Mhm.
Because my third eye so activated. The third eye is the seat of the soul. So my soul, I'll literally be wide awake like I am right now in my dreams.
Wow.
So I can go places, and I can go to different planets, I can go into different realms. And I went into that Akashic record one night, and it was just like being around a big, huge computer, and being inside of like that computer right there, where
Wow.
there's just a whole bunch of circuits running around. I mean, everything, you know, in the movie The Matrix, when Keanu Reeves realized who he was, and all of the screen, it turned green and everything started moving around. That's how it looked, but it was white.
Oh,
And
wow.
everybody's records are there.
Yeah, everybody's records.
Everybody's records are there.
Everybody's
So,
records are there, and you can tap into whatever you want. Whatever you think about is what you'll come across.
Wow.
That's how Edgar Casey was the sleeping prophet.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, if you guys ever look into him,
Oh, yeah.
that's what he would do. I kind of know a little bit about him. He in his past life, so yeah, his past life he was a cowboy. So in those times, what he used to do was he was even clairvoyant at that point in time, because your clairvoyance, your level of clairvoyance is attached to your chakra system.
Mm.
So that is attached to your soul, so that can never be removed. But what the angels can do, if you abuse it in any type of way, they can switch it around or slow it down a little bit. But when he was a cowboy in his past life, what he would do was he would go to these bars and drink and play card games, and because he was so clairvoyant, he knew what everybody had, so he would just rob people of their money. That's how he got paid. And he talks about this story, but he said that when he had passed away at that time, before he came back down here, they told him, because you did that, we're only going to allow you to use your clairvoyant ability when you're sleeping. And that's why he became the sleeping prophet. So he would literally look at the illness that somebody had, and he would go to sleep that night and then go into the Akashic record, do his soul, find the remedy for it, and come back and give it to the person.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's amazing. You should read up on
Yeah,
him.
I gotta do that.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name?
Edgar Casey.
Edgar Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all documented.
Yeah.
Wow.
He had 3,000 people standing in line when he died in this past
Really?
lifetime. Yeah. He had 3,000 people standing in line waiting to be healed by him.
Wow.
There was only 2 misdiagnoses out of like 10,000 people.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And he was called the sleeping prophet.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look into that.
A big believer in God.
Yeah, firm believer in God because he knows, you know, like when I just did a video on this yesterday on TikTok. When we're chosen, it's a lot of responsibility on this path. And if you abuse the responsibility or you take advantage of people using your abilities and you don't use them for what God wants you to use them for, they will decrease them and suppress them, or they will sometimes, if it gets really bad, they will physically remove them away from you and you won't be able to use them anymore.
Yeah. So who gets chosen? How does that work? Do you know?
You know what? I'm not too quite sure about that, but I do know we've been watched for lifetimes, and it all depends on the advancement of the soul. Okay. However fast the soul is advancing and paying attention, like we are lured to sleep on this side of the veil. You get up and go to work, you take care of your family, you pay your bills, you go on vacation, and you live your lifestyle like that, and that is what life is supposed to be. Most people go through their 3 phases like that, then they die and never realize what they were supposed to do when they were down here.
Yeah.
They get into a soul body and God's like, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. When you're down there, you got to go back down there. Right. That's part of the reason why the levels of reincarnation are so high.
Right. So how do we know our purpose? How would someone figure that out?
So that is something that is inside of you. So through meditation and slowing the mind down, you will be able to connect those dots.
Okay. Is that something that you could help people with? Do you do that?
It's probably, I can probably help them dig it out of them, but it's, as far as picking it out or figuring it out on my own, I probably wouldn't be able to do that because.
No, I mean, would you be able to assist them in?
You
know, the steps of.
Definitely.
Yeah, they have to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, you got to figure it out for yourself. But the reason why people have a hard time figuring out what they're here to do is because their mind is moving too fast, and our minds are deliberately in this society that we live in, especially in America. Everything is fast paced, so everybody's mind is at anywhere from 23 to 33 hertz at all times, and that's part of the reason why sleeping disorders in America is so high. And sleeping pills are consumed so high because people can't go to sleep because their mind can't slow down. So in order to figure these things out, first thing you need to do is slow everything down. Everything has to. That's why I always revert back to the movie The Matrix. You see, Keanu Reeves was able to move everything slowly because then his mind slowed down. And once his mind slowed down, he was able to control the Matrix. So you can't control anything when your mind's out of control.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So, do you share this information like publicly?
Yeah.
You do, like.
I mean, on social media.
On social media.
I don't go. I mean, this is probably like the first thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
So where can people find this information? Can you tell them like what your social media?
Yeah. I can give you my social medias. The TikTok is at Top Pure P, and then I think my Twitter account is Pure P Top, and then my Instagram, which I don't really use that often, but my Instagram is Top Pure _P.
Okay.
So yeah, those are the 3 that I'm on TikTok more though. If you really want to get any information from me, that's probably that would probably be the one that you want to go with, at Top Pure P.
So is there contact information on there in case people want to get a hold of you?
Inside of the in TikTok and all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can just DM me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Send me a direct message, and I'll be more than willing to help anybody. Part of the reason why I'm here is to help people. Help them through their addictions, help them through their confusion, and help settle things down a little bit because a lot of people. I go inside to some people's houses, I'm like, it's just utter chaos inside. But it can be resolved with just a little bit of slowing everything down.
Yeah.
Everything is so fast paced. I got to get the kids here. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. But if you have structure, balance, and discipline, then a lot of things start to slow down.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I'm a single father. I've been a single dad for almost 3 years now. And my daughter, she has to go to school. She has her little things that she wants to do, entertainment, vacations, all of that stuff. And I'm able to handle it all. Cook us, our meals every day because I prepare everything ahead of time. So like I know she wants to go somewhere. I'm not going to just sit there and be on my phone during the morning time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there and prepare lunch and prep dinner and put that stuff in the refrigerator and then eat and then go take her wherever she wants to go and then when we get back, I'll cook dinner and everything, taking 15 minutes to make dinner.
Do you
Yeah.
ever get off balance? Do you ever, does that happen?
No,
No?
very
Do you
rarely.
ever get angry?
Sometimes, you know.
Okay.
I had to deal with, you know, my temper over the years, but when I became super conscious and had my spiritual awakening, that kind of just went out the
Okay.
window, because your mind's so slow. So when something happens, like a road rage incident, you might get mad, but you calm down really quickly,
Mhm.
so it doesn't escalate and just you keep getting madder. You know, some people get mad about something and then their anger just shoots straight through the roof, and then they're just pissed off the whole day.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that anymore,
Yeah.
because your awareness is too high, so you just typically go right back to your happy, peaceful thoughts.
Okay, well, I'll be your first client.
Okay. Hey, it happened, but you got this shop to run, so you know I understand.
So tell me, how has this helped you, like with some of the things that you have coming down the road, like in the future, like with your craft, your art, you know?
With the music?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was able to do is start to implement a lot of what I learned on the spiritual path into the music and make it like sound good,
Mhm.
to where it doesn't sound like it's like a gospel song,
Oh yeah.
you know, because a lot of people hear, oh, that's gospel music, I don't want to hear that.
Mhm.
But I was able to balance it out to where I get the message across, and I have songs where I did a song called Reflections, where I literally open up your heart chakra
Oh, wow.
through the song and through the frequencies that I use. So I try to use the vibrations and frequencies, the beta waves and things of that nature,
hertz.
the hertz,
Mhm.
the right hertz to open up people's chakras.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's helped me out a lot. That's why when I'm coming out with my album, it's going to be called Now,
Mhm.
because now is the most prominent thing that we have.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people get caught up in their thoughts, and their thoughts are of the past, or their
Mhm.
thoughts are anticipating the future. So really, their anxiety is what is called uncertainty anxiety.
Mhm.
So they're not living in the now moment. So they're destroying their future and they're destroying their now by not living in the now.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why I called my album Now, is because I just wanted everybody to understand that now is where we are at. Time doesn't exist. Now is always now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Past is irrelevant. The future doesn't. My dad always used to say this: the past is a council check, the future is a promissory note, and the present is cash in hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's wisdom right
Yeah,
there.
wow.
my dad's a pretty wise dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. So when do you think you'll be releasing this?
I'm gonna have a couple more videos done for it, and then should be done by the end of summer.
Oh,
Hopefully.
good.
Yeah.
Good. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah.
So can you touch a little bit? You know, I know when we were texting last night.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about, or you were mentioning some things that's coming up and happening. What do you see?
As far as in our country or in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're about to go through a real rugged patch.
Mhm.
You know, it's gonna get pretty rough out there for a lot of us. But it's all by design, because you can't tell somebody what is going on. I can tell people what's on the other side of the veil all day long, but until they physically experience it themselves, that's when they'll believe it.
Mhm.
So in order for us as a society and as a world to understand everything, all the evils and everything that has been going on in the world, we have to physically experience it.
Mhm.
You know,
And we are.
and we are,
We
and
are.
we're going to experience it to the highest degree about what all of these people have been doing, from in the political arena to in Hollywood, and all of the manipulation tactics in the news media and all of that stuff. It's all going to come up to the surface.
Right.
You know, you look up now, and the news media, there's, everybody should know by now, it's a propaganda tool.
Right.
And they're even doing nothing but feeding you what their agenda
Fear.
is,
A lot of
and,
fear.
and pumping fear, because fear is in 3D.
Mhm.
So they're trying to keep people stuck in the third dimension,
Mhm.
because the whole planet is shifting.
Right.
The whole planet is shifting itself. So they're trying to hold as many people into that lack of hope, fear area, in that 3D area as possible, to stay here with them, so they
Right.
can keep everything going. But once you a lot of people they got 1 foot in the 3D and 1 foot in 4D, and it's so hard to get pushed all the way over and spread your wings in 4D when you have, misinformation out there.
And you're fearful.
And you're fearful and you're scared. You're like, I don't know about going that way.
Right.
That's where I come into play and say, no, you come over here. This is where you need to be. This is where you're supposed to be.
So how do we get over there?
You have to have faith.
Okay.
And just take that leap of faith.
Okay. So what else do you see happening?
Just going to be a lot of things that are going to change in the political arena, as far as moving forward, especially in America, because we have the strongest constitution in the world in America, and that is there's no voiding our constitution.
Right.
And if you look up and you see these people trying to figure out manipulation tactics and little conniving ways to remove our amendments away from us, you'll see that people are going to start to get really upset about that.
Right.
And it's going to get to the point where we're going to just stand up and say, no more. We're taking it over from here, and that is what it's going to come to.
We're working through that.
And we're working through that right now. We're getting to that point, and it's going to escalate, and it's going to get pretty hairy at one point in time. But it's not going to get to the point where it's violent, because this is spiritual warfare that we're in. That this being spiritual warfare won't become physical, because there's battles going on in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual 4D that we can't see. Most of us can't feel it or see it. There's some people that go into dream state and actually are in both dimensions. So when they go to sleep at night, they're going up there with the angels and fighting.
Right.
They'll literally wake up in the morning and have scars all over their body.
I have a friend named Steve like that.
Yeah, and I wake up sometimes with them. I have scars on my arms or on my back, so I know that
you were in battle.
I'm going in battle at certain points in time, but I'm more needed down here than I am up there.
Right.
So there has to be a balance of both. But we're definitely going to go through some twists and turns. There's been so many lies, and we've been lured to sleep. It takes 12 years to indoctrinate the soul. I think it was Mr. Rothschild. He said that he wanted to create a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers, because they literally didn't want us thinking anymore. They just wanted us to be in perpetual motion of nothingness, and just getting up and going to
controlled.
And being controlled, and going to, you're going to achieve this, you're going to achieve that. Go out to do these things. All of these things that you're achieving, you can't take them with you.
Right.
And so that's one of the things. But
true.
They indoctrinated us really, really hard. Around the early 1900s, by like 1913 is when it really, really started to have an impact on our country. And when you control the school systems, and you control, say if I came into Lake Elsinore and I was the richest person that came in here, and I took over the police department, I took over the schools, I took over the political arena, I took over everything. Now everybody's going to do what I say. And if I don't have the best intentions for you, then everything is going to get a little toxic.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what has occurred in our country over the past hundred and something years, to where it's hard to visualize these things and understand them, because you just in your now, and you got technology, you got all these different things. It's hard to go all the way back to 1913 when times were a lot slower. But when you start to go back down there, you start to realize the manipulation tactics, like the tax system.
Right.
We ain't supposed to be paying taxes.
Right.
We ain't
There's
supposed
some
to.
people that don't. There's some
Yeah,
people
no.
that have fought it.
Yeah, and you can fight it,
You can. Yeah.
But that is why the IRS has pumped so much fear into everybody, because they want you to be fearful of them.
Right.
So
Oh,
therefore
yeah.
you
And a lot of people are afraid of them.
Yeah, because a lot of people have had their lives destroyed by
Yeah.
an
Well, they
entity.
don't know their rights.
Yeah, they don't know their
That's
rights.
basically what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You have rights when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know it, and they don't have the resources like getting an attorney or knowing what they're talking about. So
Exactly.
that's where that falls in.
Yep. But everything should be voted for, and these votes that go through don't need to be stolen and manipulated in any type of way. They need to be authentic. And IRS was never voted for. It was just placed inside of our country, and they started to suck us dry pretty much. But they've lured everybody to sleep. And my last lifetime, I died young. But I dealt with the Spanish flu. I was alive during that time. But I was a police officer then, and I was a female at that time. But when COVID had happened, I was sitting in front of Stater Brothers down the street over here, and I was thinking to myself, I was sitting in the car with my daughter, and sometimes when I get downloads or start having visions of my past life or something like that, I'll just literally get stuck sometimes because I have so much information going through my head. And I was sitting in front of the Stater Brothers, and I started thinking to myself, why do I remember this? And then I started to recall us wearing masks before, and I realized, okay, this is the same thing that they did then. They're trying to do it again for some type of control reasons. That's why. But fortunately for us, it didn't last as long as what they did before, because what they did, the draconians and the higher ups, they use the same methods every time. Then even if it fails, they'll just continue using whatever worked for them before. They'll just continue using it over and over again. And what happens is, like with our immune system, and you probably know about this, you know, being a survivor and whatnot, but our immune system can be destroyed really quickly. If you cover your face up with something and you have a bad diet, you're gonna get sick real quick. And in 1918, during the Spanish flu, the FDA had come around. People were still eating rotten meat out of barrels. That's how they used to eat. They used to go to these farmers markets, and the farmers would bring in barrels of just rotten food, and people would just purchase whatever was in the barrel. They wouldn't let you open up the barrel and look in there. You just had to buy it, take it home, pull it out, and people were spending their last little money on it, so they were consuming that. So with that diet right there, America's always had a poor diet, but with that diet right there, and them wearing the mask, it just demoralized the whole immune system. It technically wasn't necessarily a Spanish flu epidemic like that, because if it was like that, then it would have been a reoccurrence of it. That means we would have experienced it time and time again, but we only experienced it one time. It's because that's something that they created, and that would be the same thing with COVID. It'll be something that they might try to say, oh, this is a variant and this is this, but it won't never be this again, because it can't be because it's something that they are creating. And it's something that they created before. But when you got somebody wearing a mask on their face, and then they lack fruits and vegetables and healthy water to drink, the immune system gets shot, and the physical body starts to get sick to the point where the person can die. That's why so many people died then, but they created that.
Wow, that's some pretty heavy information. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know what? We'd like to invite you back and get into a little bit more in depth into some of the stuff that you can share with us, and some of the insights that you are aware of that we aren't.
Us,
Right?
And start giving us some tools and some techniques.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you could come back.
Yeah, I live right down the street.
I know that, but I know that you get busy too. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we could, this is the point. We want to be able to assist people in their healing.
Yeah,
so that
definitely.
they can be better and be better people.
And they can be, you just
but
have
they need
to.
some help.
Yeah,
you don't know where to go.
Yeah,
knowledge.
push yourself. And knowledge is power. Yeah.
So what meditation, before we get off here, what meditation, something that comes to your mind immediately, what would you recommend?
For a first beginner?
For a beginner. Something on like YouTube, something that's
on YouTube, any Tibetan meditations.
Okay.
Because those sounds and those frequencies right there will just automatically start to relax you.
Okay.
Not only that, though, will chisel away at the calcification on your pineal gland.
So any Tibetan
meditation. Tibetan. Start off with Tibetan meditations, because I mean the Tibetans are. There's not those guys over there. All they do is meditate.
Right.
So
So maybe if you could find one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then text it to me. Like you did the TikTok, and then I could put it on the store's page. Okay. And that way people could kind of follow up with you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
pick
send you
up some tools and some techniques. That would be great.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we want to do. But we'd love to have you come back and go a little bit more into it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That would be great.
Yeah, I know you do this every Thursday, so.
Yeah, every Thursday.
Yeah.
So we need to keep it going, because people do need.
Yeah, they definitely do.
And they don't know where to go.
Yeah, there's where you can just like, you know what, I'm gonna go down the street over here to the spiritual shop. And, I mean, there's places like your shop, and sandwiches are great. a great place to start, but there's nowhere to get the right information to understand what is going on out
Right,
here.
and that's what people are looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
telling Nick too that, the last few weeks, a lot of people, I think I may have mentioned it to you as well, people are coming in crying.
Yeah.
They're depressed.
I know. That's, remember I texted you and I told you I drove by
Yeah.
and just clairvoyantly I said something's not right in there.
Right.
And that's when I texted you to make sure everything was okay.
Yeah,
And
there
then
was
you
just
told
a
me.
lot of heaviness.
Yeah.
People were coming in, 12-year-olds with eating disorders,
Wow.
suicidal.
Wow.
I mean, it's just been really
Yeah, that's
heavy in the
tough.
last few weeks.
Has it kind of calmed down?
A little bit, it has.
That's
It
good.
has.
That's
So,
good.
but we want to put together, some kind of healing prayer vigil here at the
Okay.
shop, so that people could come and, as a community and start healing a little bit. But
All right.
people just don't have anywhere to go. I know I
Yeah.
said that already a few times, but they just don't.
I
They don't
know.
know where to go.
I know, and church is so, I mean, church is a good place to go,
Mm-hmm.
and to find people there, but, you're not really going to be able to look at yourself
Mhm.
because they want you looking inside of this book, but the guys that wrote the Bible didn't have a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to understand the Word of God is the Word of God,
Mhm.
But what did God do with those people that were writing the Bible?
Mm-hmm.
He used them as a conductor of information.
Right.
He put the information within them. So we have to get back to using our bodies to
Mhm.
connect with God, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
I agree.
And that is, once we start doing that, then, everything kind of settles itself down.
Mm-hmm.
But the confusion comes in is where you're looking for answers inside of something and there's no answers there. So
Right.
then you start losing hope,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And then you turn to drugs
And then you turn to drugs or alcohol and
gambling,
just all of
all
these,
kinds of
all
stuff,
kinds of
shopping.
stuff out there. Eating
right?
Yeah.
Eating
Trying to fill
addictions.
that void.
Trying to do the best
And
that you
we've all
can to
been
fill
there.
it. Yep.
We've all been there, a little down and not sure
Yep.
what to do. So, but we'd love to have you come back.
I definitely will.
Yeah, we'd love to.
I
I'll
definitely
harass
will.
Appreciate
you
it,
and go
man.
to your house and say, okay, when you come, start ignoring me.
Right? Well,
Thank you.
thank you again
Thank you.
for
You guys
showing
are
up.
welcome.
Thank you for sharing all this important information
Yes,
with us.
it was
Definitely.
amazing.
And we look
Thank
forward to
You're
having
welcome.
you again.
All right.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Take care. I
Oh
can,
my God, that was awesome.
I can send you the button.
Yes, whatever you have, that way I'm just going to set you that too.
Spiritual person, so she'll listen to me